we have Unity, where they went up against yesterday in a 2-0 fashion. Again, they still have 100% win rate on their arena, and they're all conquered as well. So take a look at what they're gonna be drafting.
All right, draft number 1 is underway, so let's get into it. See what happens here, and the weakness of Unity that we have seen a while ago, or at least days ago, is that they kind of have a weak early game, so they need something to kind of set this up. And they were the team that I would again dub as the under the sea team, as they do employ that Crash and Kilgroth duo. Pretty damn strong, pretty good for the team fights as well.
Correct, Mundo, and we'll have to see immediately what a response draft here. You can tell that they fear the Joker and Freda common synergy here, but it looks like they're gonna settle for Maganga. Now that I see that Serenity, doesn't have any global presence in comparison to Unity's Sentinel pick, I kind of wonder if in next rotation they might lock in that Max, as they still might lack that other side laner. And Ryoma could sometimes go jungle, sometimes he could go do a decent side laner as well. But if they lock into Slumber, they're gonna have that Observer. Alice, again, one of the strong picks, especially if you pair it up with a very good hard carry. So Preda is one of them. As long as they provide that awesome peel, then the damage will be dealt.
So we are only lacking a marksman now, or at least a hard carry here. And look at their composition. This is a well-rounded comp right here. You got yourself some team or some prowess in the early game, a good spike in the mid game with the help from that Preda, and then Kilgroth just basically destroys people in the late game. But on the other side of the spectrum, Serenity here is also not too shabby. They have themselves that Maganga for some really drawn-out team fights, the Joker as well, and for some burst combo. And this is going to be, well, really interesting to see how it unfolds.
Yes, the Kilgroth pick, not really easy to shut down, but then if you do have the necessary CCs and target focus, then he is easy to catch up, as he's very linear in terms of playstyle. He dives in, tries to get those autos hit to get that sustainability in a team fight, and that is one of the key strengths of a Kilgroth. Very hard to shut down, but as long as he's target focused, as long as you have the necessary amount of damage, they're good to go. But also another key hero in Unity side is the Preda pick, which I think can play from behind, but at the same time can snowball. Well, not really snowball, but just has a lot of wave clear, which would mean tower defense and as well as sieging could get really.
I'm kind of just happy to see that the Preda, like let's say a couple of patches back, was more of a niche hero that doesn't really see too much play. Because of how the game has evolved already, he has, has basked in that spot, in that limelight, just because of what you said. His strengths being that he controls waves ever so effortlessly, actually, and in the fight, not too shabby as well. You can actually, I believe, if you time it, you can do like a double Preda wave combo. That gas bomb of yours, it just allows you to have a certain, like a pseudo type of burst combo for this Preda. And yeah, this is just game number 1 starting off. If you guys are interested to see who's going to be winning this one, put it in the chat, or who are you rather supporting? Is it going to be Serenity? Is it going to be Unity? Actually hold or kind of deal against XD Gaming in the finals? We'll just have to see as we are still loading into our first game.
Exactly. Take note, Unity has that 100% win rate. Serenity has already lost a game. But let's take a look at our match as it is ready. So I'm gonna hand it over to Asarai and Luria.
Thank you so much. And of course, again, my name is Asarai. I'll be one of the casters for this second best of 5. And joining me now is the lovely Luxuria. I'll find another word to kind of describe you later on. Don't worry.
Okay, so I was looking for, multiple L's when you're going to open up for me. But even then, coming into this game a minute in, and we do see Maganga taken very, very low, or rather relatively low. And, okay, he's healed back all the way up, but that is besides the point. But coming into this game itself, I'm really liking what I'm seeing in terms of team comps, right? We saw XD Gaming when they went up against that of OA yesterday, and they played the Maganga, or rather the side of OA actually played the Maganga, and they played him really, really well. We saw high burst as well, but we do see a little dance here in this bot side. Sopranophobia will be heading back into that mid lane. So just looking at team comms here, Kilgroth, right? Not the easiest hero to execute because simply just down to how much farm you actually need, and if you're not able to, you really cannot carry for the late game. Like you mentioned, Unity needed a hard carry for the late game or the high burst. Joker was on the table. Joker wasn't picked up at all.
Yeah, he wasn't picked up as well, and they were just able to take out that Kilgroth, the Kilgroth straight from the get-go. I mean, that is the weakness of this Kilgroth right here. He's going to be very susceptible to these ganks, and because of that immediate kill for them, you see how Serenity immediately capitalize upon on that Abyssal Dragon, and this just goes again to what I talk about how Unity kind of has a weak early game here, but this is to be expected because that is a Kilgroth, although the Preda is going to be dove upon here as they are looking for a huge team fight. Look at the body blocks coming in from Unity as they now push back onto Serenity. The Itties are going to just come out from the biddies, and look at this as who is this one getting caught out? It is actually the Maganda, but from downtown, Darth Vader goes in, and you know what? Anakin Skywalker, he did that horrible thing in I believe that was the third movie, and he is doing it once again here as Unity is gotten obliterated for I believe that was 2 deaths there, and Serenity, oh my goodness, is getting all those kills left and right.
Yep, Abyssal Dragon on top of all of that as well. So Serenity definitely looking very, very strong in this early game. However, if they do allow Unity to actually breathe and go into the late game, they might be a force to be reckoned with. I mean, just looking at Team Com itself, they have got the Alice for the shutdown, for the CC, they have the Praetor for the long range poke, and on top of that, Kilgroth can be in the front line. However, they are not looking as tanky as the protect, the Praetor comp that we saw from yesterday. But the side of Serenity, however, they have got a ton of damage, and not forgetting, no punishment whatsoever for when Timmy uses being a bro. And on top of that, high healing from Maganga. Serenity in itself has got really high sustain to go up against this Kilgroth and the likes of Praetor as well.
Yeah, definitely agree with you on that one. I mean, they do possibly have the Hissy Fit and maybe the wave here of the Praetor to kind of use, but hold that thought as we are going to see them kind of collapse upon this one. There is the Xenia with the ultimate just to go for the response, and look at this Teamy go down, or rather the Maganga go down, but of course, Teamy activates being a bro, and it's going to be okie dokie on that one. Max joins in onto the fight as well. He is level 6, so he's going to take or produce a good amount of chunk of damage here. The Praetor wave a little bit tad too low. And at the opposite side of the spectrum, that is going to be the Joker to get a kill. While at the other side of the map, you see the Kilgroth not give a damn for his teammates just yet because he is trying to get as much farm as possible. So this looks to be the waiting game for Unity, although Serenity is definitely getting a huge chunk of advantage because of that certain fact.
Ooh, this dance around Abyssal Dragon. Excalibur is here as well. I don't think Serenity should really start it out. Shashwa going very, very low.
Ooh, look at that wave coming in. Xenophobia. We don't need. Maganga has faltered as well. And Teamy, oh Teamy, will he actually revive? Looks like that's going to be a no. No ultimate for this big boy just yet as he goes down for the count. And who got the Abyssal Dragon? It was Serenity, but they did lose a few members just to secure that objective.
Yeah, but I feel that it's, kind of worth it. You lose out 3 members, you pick up 2 kills for yourself, and you get the Abyssal Dragon as well. So all in all, it kind of worked out for the side of Serenity. I mean, just look at the gold lead that they have. Not an impressive one, 1K, but when you're up against such a comp like that of Unity, any form of only is as important because you do not want them to have that early game. You do not want them to have that lead from the start. So looking at this, it's just down to Zipfile and sorry, not Zipfile, but Blaze on that, and it's just so much CC. And then if Cypranophobia in the backline's not checked at all, can dish out just so much damage, but try to here.
Ooh, he's gonna have to try to run away here, skedaddle from the fight, but of course, Daniel, click of a button, one press of that touchscreen, and he actually just joins in onto the fray. Now, a 3v1 situation here has to back away because even though he is a tank, it's not really gonna, expound for him too much. On the opposite side of the spectrum, in the mid side, Zephyr's actually got that mid-tier 1. Cold Excalibur is gonna be happy with that one, but not too much as he actually goes down for the count, and that was a little bit interesting or weird to see. For that to actually happen. Darth Vader on the max, though, is actually doing tons of good job. But look at this Serenity from bottom to middle to top. This is the trinity of rotation that we see time and time again that these teams employ from certain time to time as well. And Hazebit will be activated there. The waves as well. Look at the damage on the Zipfile. He goes down. And that's going to be no usage on the being a pro. Interesting to see that to actually happen here. As Zephys finds an opening, charges in, goes for the poke, but of course Ryoma has the counter poke to go as well. Sopranophobia on the side tries to go in for the fadeaway wave, and it's really not gonna connect. Spirit Sentinel is open for the taking, as well as the Abyssal Dragon, and I think Kilgroth, as you can see in the bottom side, is looking to start it off. No vision possibly here for Serenity. Might be the Joker, could go for the steal on that killing joke, but we'll just have to see as he is in no man's land. Tries to go for the steal, no! As light, well, shines upon that one, but you know what? He just was a tad bit too late.
Yeah, but we all know that light on that Joker is definitely very, very strong, very comfortable on that hero as well. And here we see Shashua just letting down some poke against that of Cypranophobia with that poison ticking away. A wave coming through. Oh, not quite hitting anyone just yet. So, although they, Excalibur took the mid-tier turret, but even then, you saw Serenity actually taking up the top turret and then the bot turret as well. So overall, Serenity still came out on top. And Chaitu, level 10, not the most impressive levels. I mean, you've been solo farming after all, and at the point in time, you still do not quite have those items needed to just frontline for, Alice, for your Praetor as well. So that is one thing that you maybe have to reconsider, especially if you're looking over at Fiki and he's already at level 7.
Wait, hold that thought. They're going to be spotting out the Ryoma here. Activating that Hissy Fit just from out of nowhere. Serenity with a 3-man rotation to top tier 1 just to keep that, let's say that stronghold, that foothold of them in the map secured, because that gives them much control over this Darkster compared to Unity, who lost their top tier 1. Now we do see that Zed on the Zenial is a little bit of a pickle, has to back away, only level 10, and is taking quite a bit of substantial damage from all of that Serenity shenanigans. Kilgroth, on the other hand, will be going to the bottom tier here to kind of go 1v1 against the max. Now you were saying that that the Chaitu could have more levels here, but maybe this is enough for him to actually push out the max here and force Serenity to maybe go bottom and allow the other members of Unity possibly go for this Darkslayer or get more towers to their name.
Yep, we are seeing a lot of emphasis in this top lane itself with all 3 members, maybe even Excalibur going up into the top lane to try to force his top tower down. As here we see Max at the bottom lane trying to defend that, and he can be there if he wants to. Oh, Light gets taken down very, very low. Excalibur joining the fight.
Man, disgusting. Look at that Hissy Fit being used as like a crosshair for that Praetor wave. If you get some crowd control with the Hissy Fit, charge up that Praetor wave and just blast people away. That is a thing to behold. And Zipfile actually has to back off from this fray right now. There should be the Bring a Bro activated, but no, it was just a bit too far. That teamie was a bit too ways off to actually being a survivor, or a savior rather, for this Ryoma. Now both of these teams are heavily contesting or heavily defending this top tier 1, because like I said again, this is all gonna be in preparation of Darkslayer. But the longer they hold out, the more time they're giving for this Kilgraw to get his farm in the bottom side, as he is having such a wonderful time in that one, forcing out the flicker from Xenophobia as Zipfile is being a tad bit aggressive on this teamie.
Yep, and just look at it. Kilgroth went in for the sneaky Abyssal Dragon without getting detected by the likes of Serenity, and the only reason is just Serenity just putting too much emphasis in the top lane, even going after the Zenio, someone that's so very tanky, they're putting so much emphasis on Excalibur joining in the fight.
I mean, they can't smell the Kilgroth doing that because bad, but you know, it is what it is. Pooty Poot's in the way, and that's gonna be shut down for Light as he finds in the midst of it all that Pareda. Now it's all gonna be all hell, all loose in the top lane as we see teams just going in, and this Zed is still alive. Max is still in the middle of the fight here, but that Kilgroth is doing so much damage, although Light has been uncontested in every single bout that they have in this top lane clash, and he just obliterates everybody. Although that will be a 3-for-3, Light is still looking for some targets. Does he see the Alice rotating to the mid? Maybe even get him a little bit of that juicy bouncing girl right there. Maybe get a kill. He does have the burst, 13-11, and he is looking for that initiation. Oh, nope.
Is looking for that bouncy gold. Yeah, there you go. That lolly that I Requested Duo actually mentioned just the other day. But here we do see Unity actually, given the space, was able to farm up, especially that of Kilgroth. Although in the top tier, the top lane, they kind of lost fight in their team fight, getting forced away. But even then, with that, Serenity couldn't push on into any other objectives. Maybe clear out the jungle, but that is about it. And here we see Ryoma, Max putting emphasis in the bot lane, trying to get that Abyssal Dragon, sneaky one at that. But Excalibur and the entirety of Unity probably have smelled that, and they will want to go down to claim this dragon for themselves. And here you see Chaitu trying to, oh, there you go. Abyssal Dragon getting taken by that of Chaitu, and no response whatsoever from the side of Serenity.
I like this from Unity though. They know that at least they know that, you know, there's a possibility of Darkstone being taken out here, so they actually put the Alice on the top side, but that is not enough to actually counter this take, and Serenity get that DS buff. This is going to be huge. A team fight ensues right now as they arrested into this one. Preda is going to go one. He actually gets away, but it's a good amount of damage on this Joker as tries to get away from the team fight. But look at this, Chaitu could actually be the man to cut off his advances, but because of that Dark Slayer buff, it seems like Unity has to back away. They were a bit too late on contesting this huge objective right here and right now, and because of that, the damage overflows from Serenity. And even though Joker was in the danger zone, 4 other members of Serenity there were kind of comfortable just, you know, going adjacent to him, or rather parallel to him, and push other members. And look at this top tier or mid tier one go down so dang quickly. Zephys in no man's land has to back away. Ryoma comes in from the wayside looking for an objective here, looking for that kill. Killing Joke will not connect onto Excalibur, but this is looking to be a Serenity game as they try to pull away Max into the bottom lane. And ooh, indeed, Ryoma goes in there, but a bit too aggressive. Zephys, can he find his man? And it seems like that's going to be the case, but of course, here's gonna be being a bro, stopping the aggression right now as we see a fight still continues into the top side here. Zaya gets the kill there, and they are hella super freaking low, but of course at the same time Maganga is doing, you know, Maganga things, which is to just stack up that DOT, and he is just going wild. Pareda goes for the wave, but it's not gonna matter anymore. That is 4 members of Unity down for the count, only losing the Teamy here, and with that opening into the core, we could be seeing game number 1 already.
Oh wow, that was a quick one after the DS buff, immediately looking for a fight in that mid lane, and with that, tower down, pushed onto the second one, and we do see, once again, Light on that Joker, left unchecked, even in one team fight when he could just skedaddle and run around the enemies. That is impressive for me to watch. I mean, no one, you know, place the emphasis on Light at all, and this is something that we've mentioned before. Okay, just take a look at this team fight. You see, Light was at the corner taking down Alice. Alice burned that ultimate, while 3 members trying to take down that of Zeno, and then Light here just go in for the mid-tier turret, and there's really nothing much that the side of Unity could have done or can do, except for maybe in the earlier parts of the skirmishes, in the earlier parts of the team fights, put more emphasis, you know, more firepower onto this Joker.
Yeah, and I mean, if a game like this is kind of neck and neck, there is that one tipping factor, you know, that you have to put into the equation, which is that Dark Slayer. And you saw that after that, when they forced the fight, it seemed like it was actually a good idea because they could catch out of position here Serenity. But that buff was so adamant or paramount in allowing Serenity to get the control. Serenity kind of didn't get anything from that.
Yep, it is pretty much like a stockpile one for all. But let's see what Riku has to say as we just throw it over to her.
Thank you very much, Luxuria. And there you have it. Congratulations to Serenity for winning the first game of the series, of our second series against Unity. Serenity, again, I know you guys keep mentioning about Light's Joker, and it seems to be one of the key factors to their victory. And if you have a key player that's so strong that that's so hard to shut down, then Unity should probably consider heavy assassins, heavy dive compositions instead. Kilgraf for me is not a heavy assassin dive comp because he's more like sustained damage. I'm gonna keep hitting you because I need to live, and he deals a lot of damage. But if not a lot, and that's the reason why whoever gave up that control eventually get that DS later on, which was Serenity. They were started with that, and that's the reason why they kept pushing on with it.
Yeah, I mean, my name is Asa right here, and I'm not sure if I introduced myself. Going in the analyst portion of this match, but in any case, yeah, definitely right upon that. When Kilgrot seemed to be more of that sustained damager here for Unity, and in theory or on paper, it seems like it was a good answer there. But the problem that they had to deal with was that if they really can't reach the Maganga, I feel like in terms of sustained damage output, the Maganga could be more because he can target more people at the same time compared to Kilgrot, who has to go one after the other. It's just going to be, him trying to reach this Maganga. And I feel like with their composition, especially with that teaming, not only being available to save the Maganga, rather, his disruptive skill set is what allowed them to kind of do something of that type of shenanigans. And even though it looked actually a little bit good for Unity there, Serenity kept their calm and kind of broke their shell or broke their layer. Where we were talking about how they were tunnel visioned, but right now, even though it was kind of neck and neck at certain points, Serenity never gave up the bigger picture here, which is to be able to secure important objectives. Darkslayer, Abyssal Dragon is fine, but Darkslayer is way fine.
Yes, a lot of ways, Asarai. We saw that the Alice from Unity just tried to, Zed rather, tried to do the human warding duties, but I believe it was late. But you know what? I'm really excited what kind of adjustments we're going to have as we head on over to game number 2.
All right, so draft is underway.
Yes.
Game number 2, like you said, Preta off the table. Okay, so wait, it was Unity who used the Preta here, but they're the ones to take it off the bat. So, I mean, I guess it makes sense because the only 3 functional mages will be Preta, L'Oreal, and the Maganga. I mean, you could go possibly the Diao-chan, but up against a L'Oreal, that is pretty much a bad matchup.
Exactly. It's so difficult to deal with a L'Oreal, and I feel like Diao-chan is one of the weaker mages in the meta, mainly because the way that you play her in the battlefield. Seniel, no questions there, as you just want to you want to match that global presence. But I really like this pick from Unity. Obviously, you were the one that brought up the Under the Sea combo, Fresh and Kilgraf. So if Unity takes this away from Serenity, they wouldn't be able to assemble this combo that they have. But now that Sashwat, the Crash will be their observer, Maganga will be their mage instead.
Yeah, and it was actually very little choices again for Serenity here to kind of pick their own mage. And it just makes the most sense again because if you think about it, Crash and Zenyo make for some really beefy, tanks, so that if they can get their crowd controls rolling, especially the Metamorphosis of Zipfile, that'll just make it so easy for Sashwat on that Maganga mage to kind of, like bowling ball his targets, kind of just connect everything as Crash lines it up for him.
Exactly. And I'm actually curious. Unity had the choice to go for an Alice support or but they decided to go for the lumber instead. I guess more knockups, roll and initiation rather than one of those protection and move speed from Alice. But you know what? It all depends on your execution. We'll have to see the three-man squad do this. It's going to be a L'Oreal Lindis Lumber, which I think is pretty decent. Pretty strong still. As for Serenity's side, it's going to be the Crash, Maganga, and Ryuma, which I feel like might lack a little bit on the damage department because it deals much of a slower damage in comparison to the L'Oreal Lindis Lumber combination. But then again, it's depending on their rotations, they could be a little bit more defensive, but obviously Serenity and the Unity matchup so even. It's just one of those things where whoever decides to get that risky move first and be rewarded for it. Serenity was rewarded with that DS call. They were firm with it and they got rewarded. They instantly, after that one push, they dove upon Unity and they weren't scared at all. Predator Wave didn't do anything that much and they have attained their victory. So I'm looking forward to this Kilgroth. It's going to be a Kilgroth side lane because I assume Lindis will be in the jungle time around, and for the jungle on the other side might be the a side lane Joke Senya. Yes, sir. Looks like the match is ready, and I'm gonna hand it over back to our casters, Azurite and Lag.
Thank you so much for that one, and joining me. A little bit here, I'm feeling that burn. Can you feel that burn too, Luxury?
Well, I'm feeling the poison coming out from that Maganga. Shashwat on that Maganga, just looking very, very strong, able to poke out that of L'Oreal already in that early game. So, the side of Unity obviously trying to go in for that aggressive play because they have got the Kilgroth. They need to go in for that aggressive play. However, just looking over at both sides, we are seeing a counter rotation coming out from the side of Serenity.
Yeah, and 40 seconds on the clock. Before that episode, you are clear out the area here and possibly maybe even catch up onto the Lombard. Surprisingly, this is a Lombard to go up against the Joker, while the other members, the Kilgroth as well as the L'Oreal here, will go for a rotation into the bottom. Joker could actually get caught out right now, as this is a 3-1 collapse. There is the Crash holding his hand. Give that a little bit of shield, a little bit of loving, and he should be fine and dandy. Next episode, or first episode dragon of this game, will come out shortly. Zip file, peeking out the brush, making sure that Unity cannot set these death brushes up. And you got to remember that AOV does not have wards, so paramount to kind of being able to spot out your opponents is of course why we have observers. So push them out, make sure that nobody has a sneaky position, and then secure an objective.
Yeah, but on top of that as well, Observer and as well as the Seagull. Obviously, Seagull was taken by the side of Serenity earlier on, and that basically showed them where Lindis and Kilgroth were. And here we see actually Lumber basically, I think, just holding down that bot lane, holding down that fort in that bot lane, and then we do see Kilgroth going in to actually take over from there. And we actually do see that Abyssal Dragon is up, and Lindis actually making the rotation down to it as well. We might possibly see after this pause a big fight that may just happen around this first Abyssal Dragon, which we saw in that of the first match. However, quickly looking through draft, Unity actually banned out the Praetor first phase, and that makes sense, right? Praetor puts out so much damage. However, we saw actually them using the Praetor in the previous match to not much of a success whatsoever. The Maganga will just prove to be so much more useful, effective, useful in that previous match. So,
ooh, Unity just going straight for the Abyssal Dragon there and claiming it to no a contestant from Serenity, interestingly enough, although it might have been due to the fact that the Zenial has still yet to reach level 4, so, he can't really respond as quickly as he would want to with his team, while that Max can straight up use that left off because he has had the advantage on that laning phase. In any case, there is going to be Zipfile spotting out his counter observer, which is the Lumbar, and the 2v2 in the mid lane ensues. Now, this Joker will actually try to rotate as well to the mid side, and they may be able to pincer down onto this Lumbar. He does have the dash away, but this actually gets the slow. There's the connection, does activate the heal, but on the other hand, he just pushes out this one, giving a little bit more of loving to allow this Killgrot to actually get some farm into the bottom side, having a really, I think, tough time against the Joker. Even though he's getting the last hits, look at his HP bar kind of diminish every time he encounters that Joker.
Yeah, but I think the thing about, putting a Killgrot down, like we mentioned earlier on, now that, the side of Unity actually has got a marksman, but then obviously plays in the jungle role. However, Killgrot, if you're up against another melee, maybe you'll come out on top because in order for you to survive, you will be going in for a team fight. But just talking about team fight, Light.
Ooh, look at level 5 Joker making a 2v1 look like a piece of joke. And pun intended, first blood will be taken by the laughing Gaxman himself, the opponent, the mortal enemy of Batman here, kind of is, showing his stride, showing his work into the Arena of Valor. Now there's going to be a team fight right now, as look at this, Max from downtown just goes in, but he gets the perfect spacing there, still goes down with the Max passive, and that's going to be a 2-for-1. Joker is down, but they have a wave themselves to maybe go for this bottom tier 1 and then go for the Abyssal Dragon. Huge strides coming out from Serenity. Oh, are they going to go for the face or the brush check there and maybe even get them a juicy follow-up kill onto the Lumbar, I believe? Looks like that's going to be a no, but a not too shabby amount of objectives here. Dragon plus that bottom tier 1.
Yep, 2 kills, 3 kills actually. Bottom tier 1 turret, and on top of that, the Abyssal Dragon. Serenity definitely playing in their stride. Serenity, not to be very ironic, but then they play more, in Unity as compared to, say, Unity, right? I mean,
yeah.
Obviously, when we see Serenity actually being very split up earlier on, and that gave Unity the chance to actually secure the Abyssal Dragon for themselves. But the moment Serenity actually groups up and play as a team, it is almost as if there is no fight whatsoever for the side of Unity, because Joker is just one of the heroes that's super hard to take down, especially when Light is playing him.
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, he has good keep away. Comparing it when you don't have the dash, all the Unity had to do, or all Unity had in that particular moment was Lindis poke and Killgrot if he can actually, find a little bit of that opening. Anyways, let's see as another fight actually will break out into the mid. Look at that explosion coming in from the Lumbar, but it's not gonna matter at all. They go in. The Max actually was a little bit too late to that party, and he is just getting bombarded. 4v5 or 4v1. Actually make that into 5v1, and this Max is put into a minimum, as now they have that Darkslayer open up to themselves without much contestation, as that Killgrot is gonna have a very tough time trying to get this last hit, but he will do the best that he can. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. He's not gonna get it. Darkslayer goes into Serenity's hands, and they're chasing hard onto this Merman himself, but he gets away, although he has to be pretty dang sad about that one, as that was a huge objective taken up here by Serenity.
Yep, and one thing as well, pick a card, any card. The second ability of Joker actually makes him immune to any physical damage for, I think, if my memory is right, I think 1.52 seconds. So, with that in mind, actually Joker, and on top of that, with so much sustain coming out from the team, they have Maganga with the consistent healing, right? And then you have Zaniel with the burst of healing, and as I'm talking, another kill going over to Serenity, and on top of that, the Abyssal Dragon as well. But here we see Max with the sneaky top push will be able to down one tower in his name for himself, for the team. However, I don't think that will matter much to the side of Serenity as they push down this mid.
Yeah, they pushed down this mid, and that was a tier 1 tower to a tier 2 in the mid, plus the possibility of losing their mid tier 3, and this is going to be very, very crucial right now for Unity to keep this alive. Look at that crush going in to the back line and just push everybody back, allowing the members of Serenity to just bombard everybody else. Zenyu will actually join in onto this fray as he wants some of that, juicy candy there. But he actually gets obliterated. They did lose 3 members, and Unity did lose 2, but the damage on that tower will not be repaired at all. But at the same time, this is Unity standing still, or rather standing strong, even though Serenity is knocking on their doorstep. Definitely something that they have to keep doing right now if they want to stay in the fight. Now, Lindis is actually a level up on this Maganga, could put a good chunk of damage, but he is staying a little bit too long into the middle, knows it, goes back, and he is afraid that there will be other members of Serenity to actually give hands or give some support to this Maganga. But for the meantime, like I said, good defense for Unity.
Yeah, very, very good defense coming out, but I think it's more, not so much of a good defense, but it's more like greed coming through from the side of Serenity, trying to take that down. On top of that, trying to force a team fight as well when it's just so close. It's basically literally a 6v5 there. But here we see Excalibur in their bot lane taking down the tower as well as a possible zip foul. Let's see if they actually have got that RAR.
Oh no, they tried to extract the zip file, but they found a huge 5-man member of Serenity when they open it up, and it seems like it's gonna falter here for Unity rather, as they try to force that team fight. Lumbar is just you saw that he was tsunamied by the crash with that ultimate. I mean, rock gets beat by water. That's Pokemon rules for you. And this mid-tier 1, or mid-tier 3 rather, is open for the taking. But of course, we don't care about that. We care about this bottom tier 3 because, well, why the hell not? They can do as they please as 3 members of Unity is down for the count, opening up the core, and this could be GG. Serenity is now knocking into that core, that juicy center that Unity needs to protect right now, and this Kilgroth is a death groth as he goes down, and now Zed is doing the best that he can. 3-man knockup with the Lumbar here, but could this be the comeback for Unity? All Serenity has to do is actually to go for this score, but they are doing such a good job of defending it right now, but they are in the middle of the fight. Ryoma's still alive here, and they are surviving for such a long time. 4 members go down, and they are tanking up on this score. Zed on this Lumbar. Can he do it? Nope, he just gets poked out of his mind, and well, they all have to do is wait for that next wave, and this is game already. Oh, Cold Excalibur? Nope, he can't do anything.
Yeah, but I don't think even the Kilgroth, with as much farm, can fend off a 5-man team. Although they were pretty low, so maybe things can change if it's maybe 10 more minutes into that game. But good game, well played to the side of Serenity once again, pulling off their staple comp with that Joker, and then of course with the Maganga, and just showing Unity that they are more united compared to them.
Yeah. Ooh, look at that last fight. I mean, Lumbar used his ultimate, but it was more of, I think, a panic ultimate, and he could have actually set up a much more impactful one if he waited for maybe 2 or 3 seconds there. I mean, I don't think it might have done a lot, but it seemed like they were kind of disoriented on where they had to use these key ultimates. And you got to remember that, in a game such as AOV, a split-second use of a turnaround ultimate can mean worlds to them. And I think he could have used that to kind of give Kilgroth maybe an opening here, but I think the Kilgroth was actually blasted away. But in any case, it was just a cleanup, one after the other. They had to trickle in. They had to make something happen because that core was exposed. And at the end of the day, it was just too much of a gap already in terms of the damage as well as the survivability. And look at that. Oof. Maganga was just doing the best, having the best time rather, stacking up his poison and just laughing in the back. The 2 clowns, for Serenity here. The Maganga and the Joker.
Yes,
doing cloudy things.
It was just so difficult, especially for Unity. I mean, Serenity, just look at the team comp. They have Zenyu, damage reduction, healing, a burst of healing. They have Maganga with the damage, with the burst, with the stacking, DOT, and also healing. And then they have Joker that can poke from the back. They have got health barrier from the Crash as well. It was a really difficult team comp for the side of Unity to go up against. However, they have tried to go in for the aggressive in the early game. However, let's just throw it back to Riku and yourself to break it down even further.
And now we're just going to be seeing what pick will Serenity go for. We have seen them use that Crash, but I don't think it's a first pick must. And they go for the Ryoma instead. Pretty good roamer, so to speak. He's pretty strong. Yuri, on the other hand, claim themselves that L'Oreal. So now, I believe they're still going to implement that. They did use it in game number 2. Pretty okay effect, but we should be seeing, again, that Kilgroth not come into play for this third game.
Interesting for me to lock in that Max, knowing the fact that they already have that Senyo, so they don't really have to prioritize that Max. They could later lock that in and maybe secure something more important, maybe an Alice, perhaps, maybe a Zephys. They could have locked that in and flex it up. Like Ryoma could still be a side laner, and so it was maybe a little bit weird for me. Maybe the tactic, the mindset here for Serenity is, okay, I am maybe not going to reveal too much of our composition, and that's the reason why I'm gonna lock in something early that's sort of predictable. But looking at the kill graph for Unity, it's one of those things that, hey, we're not gonna give up on this graph. We can make this work. But looking at the composition of Serenity, knowing that they've locked in that Max, it's that lockdown that he provides, and I feel like one of the targets are both L'Oreal and this Kilgroth. Again, it is a best of 5 series. Anything could happen. Unity is in this game, but Serenity just needs to win.
Yeah, one more, and we are becoming more skeptical about this Kilgroth. Like we said, she needs earlier on, so maybe aside from kind of looking at this as a bad pick, we'll just have to see how Unity will use this to kind of shift up their gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, we did already mention how if I lock this Crushed in, and if I see a Kilgroth, if I see an early jungler being locked in, this would mean, okay, this Kilgroth will be placed at the side lanes, and it's just going to give the Kilgroth a hard time again. He's going to be susceptible tower dives, and Crest is built for that, as he can absorb many shots with that shield, with that metamorphosis, with that extra tankiness, and the kit that he provides. Especially if you're in the side lane, it's so easy for that tidal wave to just land that stun in, and everybody else can follow up. We know how much of a threat Violet provides in terms of damage, especially during the mid the later phases of the game. It kind of works similar to how that crit or how explosive a Joker actually deals damage. So I kind of wonder, how can Unity play around this and make that kill work? Or I don't know, the third time.
Yeah, and it's kind of curious to see here that I did again say a while ago, they use that kill growth with the Crash. And yeah, you kind of get similar results if you recording that. But the biggest difference there is that Lumbar, if I'm not mistaken, doesn't give a shield to Kilgroth compared to the Crash. And that small amount of shield, albeit kind of maybe doesn't seem too big for us, could actually be a second or so of damage for the Kilgroth to be able to survive, to be able to get that, let's say, that lifesteal for him. And it's kind of interesting that they don't imply, or they don't give much more importance to stealing that Crash away from Serenity, when I feel like they need it badly for themselves as well. I mean, I feel like they could have maybe gotten a possible L'Oreal Zephys first, and I'm okay with giving the Daniel, because Max, if Crash is just that strong, or if Gilbert's that strong, might not be as effective as well, but we'll just have to see.
Yes, sir. It looks like the match is ready, so I'm gonna ask the casters to take it away from me, Asarai, and let's
Okay, dokily, game number 3. Immediately from the get-go, before I introduce my handsome partner here, we're just gonna see Yuri push back Well, Serenity, for the meantime, they are going to be invading with the help from that L'Oreal, who is already level 2, so she should have a little bit of oomph or power in her damage as well as that Blink, but now they back off, but they did get quite a bit of that one, of the jungle rather, from Serenity, and joining me here now is going to be Luxuria.
Hello, and yes, we are back after that really short break, and Serenity, all they have to do right now is win one match, and they move on into the grand finals to go up against that of XD Gaming. However, right, Unity initially banned out the Praetor because of how good Shashwat and how comfortable Shashwat is on the Praetor, but now they're actually removing Joker from that of Light. So, you know, Joker, we've seen him play a couple of Violet here and there, but never once as good as, Light. We've seen him play a couple of Violets here and there, but never once as good as when he's on that Joker. So I'm interested to see how Serenity would actually adapt and adopt this change going into this particular round.
Yeah, it's gonna be quite interesting to see what unfolds on that insight of yours. Now, Abyssal Dragon is up for the taking, and look at this. This is what I was talking about, joining onto the fight, and even though he isn't really that kill god that we all know and love, he will at least be an extra body to help out Unity to try to take the win, or at least a little bit of this advantage for themselves, and it is working a little wonders for them, as they haven't lost a single person yet, and they have pushed back Serenity for the meantime. Max, on the other hand, was way up on the top side, as he doesn't have his ultimate to lift off into the fight as well, so that's going to be an Abyssal Dragon plus 2 kills for Unity here, but Serenity, on the other hand, do find the Kilgroth on the wayside, and he does get shut down there, but this is looking to be a better start for Unity than, those past 2 games that they have played against their opponent.
Yep, and this is what I'm talking about, right? Shashwat may be a very good Praetor, but Praetor comes online really much later as compared to that of L'Oreal, and it doesn't quite help that Shashwat is only sitting at level 3, whereas L'Oreal's Cypranophobia is already at level 5, thanks to the Abyssal Dragon and of course the constant jungle invades that Unity have been pulling out. So they are looking really impressive at this point in time. Kilgroth included as well, level 4. So, with so much pressure placed onto Serenity, Kilgroth can finally, in this game, farm up, get his items, and get tanky.
Yeah, he's going to be able to at least get that opening space that we actually need. And there's going to be a little bit of a fight here. Cold Excalibur will be joining in on that one. They have the Fresh, not yet level 4. So no metamorphosis for him to be used. Do they have enough execution? He will still survive with the shield. Goes in, and look at this. The Max joins into the fight. Goes in for a little bit of that swirly swirl, and he gets the kill. L'Oreal gets the shutdown onto the Max, but this is Serenity going back, putting back the pieces. Violet goes in for the shutdown and survives with a smidgen of HP. Very low to going down, but Serenity with a nice response right then and there, as Kilgroth once again kind of just stays into the bottom, and he's going to be okay with that one. Unity still stands tall with about 1,000 plus in terms of their gold advantage.
Yep, about 1,100. So, not looking all too shabby just yet. And just looking over at the levels coming out, we do see Excalibur actually standing strong at level 7. Violet recently turned level 7. And so Violet actually takes a lot more time, very similar to that of Praetor, to actually rev up. But here we see 4 members down in that bot lane trying to take it. Cypranophobia jumps in.
Ooh, he goes in and he price. Violet has just that range to be able to fight on the wayside. Now there is a little Unity being pushed back into their own side, so this could be an opening that they are going to be looking for. Zippa is joining into the fight. They have extracted that Crash to full execution, and Max joins in to go for the execution once again. He is chasing down the stragglers, and Unity has to back away. They lost that one, as well as the bottom tier 1, and even this Abyssal Dragon. What is happening?
Well, what is happening is simply Violet is getting the items, getting the levels, as well as Shashwat left unchecked, able to just poke from the back lines. I mean, earlier on, Cypranophobia actually had a 2-level, 3-level advantage on top of Shashwat, but now here we are actually seeing Shashwat level 8, as well as Cypranophobia only sitting at level 7, Blaze on top, going try to up against this Darth Vader on that max. And this is the issue, right? So Unity, they didn't have, traditionally speaking, at least from other games that we've seen so far, do not quite have the consistent pressure like that of Serenity. And Serenity, all they really need is to find a hole to latch on, and bam, they can come back really, really quickly because they know what they're doing. They are on heroes. They are very comfortable on. And with that in mind, you know, they have a good chance of actually taking this third game as well. But let's just see what will happen, because one Abyssal Dragon going over to the side of Serenity do not quite determine what will happen for the rest of the game. They only have a 500 gold lead anyways.
Yeah, exactly. And this kind of just goes back to game number one, wherein both of these teams have pulled left and right punches and are kind of, you know, again, neck and neck. But the longer this game progresses, the brighter the future of Unity might actually be, because, like you said, even though it looks like to have been Serenity kind of getting a lot more picks here, a lot more hold, and they're not, you know, kind of loosening that hold of them against their opponents, they are rather Unity here is still getting a good amount of farm, and if they can keep doing this and they can actually allow this Kilgrot to survive with the help from that shield, possibly of the Xenia or rather his teammates, then maybe we'll be seeing something even better here. The problem now is that Serenity has that advantage to them. They have the the hook here, the pierce through, and they're transitioning this into more objectives, as what you can see in the middle side now. They have to back away because there's just too much power and too much waves coming up from Serenity. Max doesn't give a damn anymore as he just goes in, and there is the knockup from the lumbar, but is that a bit too little too late? Seems like that's going to be the case. They go down left and right from the wayside, as now they're going to be charging in. There's the flicker from Freaky as he goes in. Freaky Deaky like getting the shutdown once again. 3 have gone down from Unity here, but Kilgrot is destroying towers by himself. He is that kind of guy who can destroy towers if he decides to do so, but at what cost? Losing his team and even allowing a Dark Slayer to boot for Serenity.
Yeah, Excalibur going for the wrong targets left and right, actually picking out that of Max when Light and even Shashwat is just poking in from the back lines. They have to rethink their target focusing coming into this next fight, or if Lumber can actually secure this Dark Slayer for them.
Oh, too long.
A little too late.
Yeah, too late, too little. And, I mean, he might have been able to maybe get a double kill there, but it's a Lumbar. He doesn't deal that insane amount of damage, so they're able to just hop over the wall, and it's all good in the hood. But, I mean, that was just, again, what we're talking about. Resources for Unity. They're trying to feed this Kilgrot, and it might not actually work for them. If they try to play it into the late game, that is where Serenity can also, you know, shine up for themselves, because they have a Violet, because they have that Preda as well.
Yep, and that is the issue, right? Kilgrot do not have the damage like that of Violet and that of Praetor. Okay, thinking about it, you know, whenever Violet actually uses Tactical Fire, right, she rolls forward and her basic attacks afterwards has a longer range firstly, and has got a pierce through as well, very similar to that of Joker and the Killing Joke. And then you have Praetor, right? The Praetor wave that comes out, it's basically an AOV, cuts through everything, no damage reduction whatsoever, and bam, your whole team is gone. And if Excalibur going into the next team fight cannot actually choose the right targets to go on top of, then, you know, Serenity can easily just come out from the next team fight. So I'm really curious as to what Excalibur will do, because he is pretty much the key person right now for the side of Unity. As long, even if in a team fight, even if he does sacrifice his life, as long as he takes out Shashwat or even Violet, then it is all worth it.
Yeah, I mean, Zephyrus, we haven't really talked much, but, or it can be rather, that assassin to be able to shut down or pick off targets very quickly. Although, I mean, it's going to be very iffy for because there is, again, that protection of the Crash. If he tries to jump in, Crash has an ability to just push him back away and even give shields again to his opponents. And look at this. Kilgore was in the middle of that fight, but not a second after, he has to back away already. There's just too much damage right now, but they are making it work with that Zenial in the front line, looking to be actually a good fight right now for Unity. They get the heals for this Kilgore. He will be able to jump back into the fight as Crash as well as Darth Vader will be the ones to remain. Actually, Darth Vader was not in that fight at all, as he just backs away, and Zenial gets a triple kill for his issues, or his troubles there rather.
I wonder what issues Blaze has. 420, maybe.
It could be.
Okay, but anyways, back into this game, in the team fight alone, Max on there, and Excalibur actually picking out the right target, or rather, I'd say Serenity is the one that overextended, just overstayed their welcome, although I don't really think that they are welcomed at all. But now Abyssal Dragon is up for the taking. Dark Slayer just got secured by that of Serenity. The game looking, all throughout pretty even, and Kilgore, at this point in time, I'm still not convinced it is the right pick whatsoever. I mean, Wonder Woman was still open, could have just easily went for her. Probably a better pick, does similar things to Kilgore, can stand in front line. And Kilgore, we saw, right? I mean, he went in, he tried to front line, but he just died. He didn't provide anything for his team whatsoever, but maybe take a couple of shots from that of Violet, wasting those tactical fires, maybe taking a wave or two from Shashwat as well. But that is all about what Kilgore can provide to the side of Unity at this point in time.
Yeah, and I mean, again, it might actually change up later on, but for now, it's us. Though, look at this one. Blaze is doing the solo man, YOLO man 1 versus 5. Nobody is going to give him any support at all, and he put so much damage into Light. If there was a little bit of that response here from Unity, maybe they could have actually gotten even more kills from that one. But because they actually were able to gravitate the members of Serenity there on the top side, Unity now on that Zephys played by Cold Excalibur can maybe get this mid-tier 2 for himself. And thankfully enough, Zenial, as he was taken down, was not at the same time that the Dark Slayer responds, so that Serenity can take this freely for themselves. For the meantime, there's going to be another fight into the top side. We are going to be seeing the flank coming in from Zipfile here. They're pushing them back. The Lombard lines it up, but still there is enough tankiness. Oh, hold that thought though. Look at the damage. Kilgore is going in for the way kills here. Then he's actually pushing them back. The Crash ultimate saves him for a little bit, but they actually just take a breather, pushes everybody back, or rather, they spaced everybody back. Zephys goes in for the assassinations, but can he actually find the targets as he needs to? It seems like that is going to be the case for a smidgen, but Blaze is the MVP here. He goes the charge up, gets the knockup. Cold Excalibur can follow through, and Unity is starting to get their stride because of the Zenial.
Yeah, because of Zenial. I mean, we saw the explosion coming out from the shield just doing so much damage to the side of
Cold Excalibur! No way! The turret finds the perfect target.
And there you go. And that is why, right? But you cannot quite concentrate your firepower onto Blaze first. All you can do, however, is for Zipfile to hold on to Metamorphosis and hopefully use it to push that of Blaze behind and allow more space for Shashwat and Light to just roam around, play around, and obviously not forgetting 3 tanky liners in front like that of try to, the more he attacks, the more lifesteal he has. And then you look at Fiki, not even matching the levels of that or try to, in which he should be able to. Level 13 versus level 15. So, just looking at items itself, all throughout, Unity has got that item advantage. However, we are seeing a lot more control coming out from Serenity. They just do not seem afraid whatsoever to actually roam, whereas I cannot say the same for Unity.
Now, Blaze is going to be in the same situation that he was a while ago, and he actually uses ultimate to go to the top side, but it was denied. And Blaze, I know that you're Zenial, you're looking pretty damn godlike right now, but you gotta remember that there are God killers. And that was like, Kratos and friends. But now they're going to be trying to go for this Dark Slayer. Dark Vader spots this out. But look at this. Serenity is going for the base race. They're going for the by Excalibur first line of defense, but Max is stopping it in the tracks. They're keeping alive for the meantime, but Serenity! What? They just go into the bottom and break the towers and go for the core. Unity, what have you done? Oh my goodness, that's not supposed to happen.
That is not supposed to happen whatsoever. I mean, Unity had the clear advantage, and we saw this actually from Unity's game yesterday. I think Zaniel was the bait, and they just pushed in, and something happened. Core was broken, but here we see they put so much investment down onto this Daniel. Daniel tried to run away, couldn't, was denied, and here we see Blaze goes down. Camera switches to top lane because of Dark Slayer buff, and just look at Ryoma, Shashwat, and Light just pushing down in that bottom lane, not knowing at all. Excalibur tries to go back in response, but then you see Chaitu there, just not quite making it because of that Max. And here you see Excalibur trying to 1v4, 1v5, trying to make the plays. However, look at the base. Light is only concentrated on that core, and bam! There you go. Light should really get that MVP. I mean, he is so target focused.
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe that this epic push and pull back and forth game between Unity and Serenity. That was one mistake that, I don't know, it was like if you play Jenga, you know, you kind of just had that one pull of the brick and everything just faltered over. That's basically what happened. Jenga. Ooh.
Jenga indeed. But for now, you know, we looked at a match, we casted a match, but what more that I really want to know is what Riku actually thinks of this match. So let's throw it over back to the panelists, Riku and Asurai. Take it away.
I have my hand on my forehead. It's because you guys are right. Unity was so close and staying in the tournament. They had the lead. They were already winning the team fights. They knew what to do. All you have to do is just rush on over to the Preda and the Violet, two of the most vulnerable targets in Serenity's lineup. And it was so weird because the Senial was in the brush. He knew that Ryoma was pushing. He knew he saw another member from Serenity. So what did he do? He walked outside the brush, showed himself, when he could have used the ult to join his teammates, and then, hey, I think they might push this lane, our most vulnerable lane at the bottom side of the map. Let's just go back. Instead of the Dark Slayer, we can try to fight them again, and then that's it. So for me, at that time, it was weird. He could have used the ult early to escape because there were so many things that could the channeling of that angelic splendor. But then again, props to Serenity for doing that play, for risking, you know, instead of the Dark Slayer, maybe we can use the Dark Slayer as a heat map, a heat source, and shove this wave, and people will be torn. Unity will be torn. Will we go for Dark Slayer instead, or will we defend our base? And it seems that they have chosen that first choice. They suffered from that consequences, and congratulations, Serenity.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of understand why the Zenial there, Blaze rather, kind of did that type of play because I'm going to say this first in my own language, Filipino, walang malakas sa lima. Or rather, yeah. That just means that, you know, at first he kind of said to himself, I can tag 1v.
Explain what it means.
Oh, sorry. Walang malakas sa lima means that no one is strong against 5. There was a point, though, wherein Zenial was like going up against 1v5, right? He felt that he was fine. He had